Good morning again, YouTubes. I'm out here at the same park I was at last week. Got the second half of it I'm going to tackle just across the street over there. First, before my hunt though, I wanted to talk about a couple things we got for the channel from my buddy Diggin' Down on Facebook. He's able to 3D print some items, so he sent us out a couple to try out here and show off. I'm actually pretty impressed. He's able to put our underground metal detecting logo, obviously on both sides. Little pick, you know, for cleaning items. He also included a pretty thick bristled brush and a lanyard, which comes in handy for me. And another surprise, he 3D printed a coin, you know, a treasure holder. On both sides of it, we have our underground metal detecting logo. Obviously foam in the middle when you want to put the coins, completely screws together, nice solid piece. I figured I'd give him a shout out. If you want anything 3D printed for your channel, look him up on Facebook at Diggin' Down. That's DIGGINDOWN, and see what he can make for you. Anyhow, on to the hunt. Here we go for our first signal. Of course, I was getting a bouncy 1314. 13, as you know, usually is a nickel, but the reason it was a bouncy signal is there was also a nail at the bottom of the plug. Closer to the top of the plug, I do see our nickel. Nice and red, not very old. This is a 2000. 5 cents richer. Shouldn't have ended that clip as fast as the nickel we found was here, but there's something else. That appears to be another nickel. This one a little older, 1989. Always double check the inside of the hole and your plug for other signals. That's probably my shovel. Nope. Something else. What else do we have in here so far? 2 nickels and a nail. Make that 3 nickels. That one was more of a surface find in the grass at the top. Even older again, 1972. But no other signals, so we'll go ahead and cover her back up. Something else to learn from here. My hole was right here. A little bit of extra dirt I didn't get shoved in the hole, but only a couple inches away, I'm getting a bouncy signal that's still around the 13 range, 12. We might have another nickel just a couple inches from the hole. Let me dig through that, see what we got. Correct. We did have another nickel hiding in there. So in that case, you know, sometimes you want to go circle around the hole with the pinpointer. If nothing else, double check it with your detector afterwards. So far we're up to 4 nickels out of the exact same spot. Check around in the hole, in the dirt, and the area around it for any other signals. And that seems to be done, but I'll give her another sweep right after I close this hole up. We had a 23 here, which tends to be aluminum, but a little bit of surgery on the plug there, and we do have a dime. Dimes regularly ring up about a 25. This one looks like it's going to be a 1986. We'll add that to the coin pile. We had a deep 17, which is obviously something iron. I'm assuming that probably goes straight through. I can use my new pick tool. Yep. See how nice that comes in handy. So some type of anchor. With the rust on it, I can't tell if this was ever threaded or what that might have connected to. But some people might find this treasure. So into the bag it goes. Here we had a 19 to 21, which is commonly a penny signal. This is obviously not a penny. Very hard part here, almost like a battery terminal. I don't see any other markings on it. Most likely just junk. But that's why you got to dig everything. You're not going to know exactly what it is till you have it out of the ground. Okay, we got our first penny out of the ground, 1920, which is the range we want. But I can tell with all the little bumps on here like braille that this is going to be a 83 and newer memorial penny. You can just faintly make out the memorial on the back. Obviously, since these have far less copper content, they pretty much disintegrate in the ground. But first penny for the pile. A quick example of what I was talking about in the last clip. You see this 1980 penny. She's going to be 95% copper. Still shiny, still solid. None of that braille corrosion of the zinc that breaks down on the newer pennies. These guys are going to be worth 3 cents in melt value. So you can essentially triple your money from 1 cent to 3 cents that fast. Here we go. This looks like probably some kid's pendant. 356493. Yeah, the numbers don't seem to go in any order. Some kind of action figure on the front. It says Takahashi on the bottom. And then an interesting symbol. What's that? The Egyptian eye. Surely just some kid's kind of bling necklace pendant or something. But that was ringing up about a penny signal, so might be some copper in there. I do see a bit of that color coming through, but we'll toss it in the pile. Only about 2 feet away, I was getting a bouncing 22. Now, again, pennies are usually 19 to 21. Nickels are about a 25. But because of the dirt composition and the depth of this one, we are going to have a dime, 2002. Not very old, but you got to remember, your signals aren't always going to be dead on for the VDI numbers. Sometimes you just got to dig by the sound, and you can tell when you got a coin or you just got, scraps of aluminum cans. So solid audio signal gives us a dime. We got another pendant. This one was screaming around a 22 to 24. So it's most likely going to be aluminum. But we have some type of snake on the front. And on the back I do see Wizarding World of Harry Potter. Looks like Universal Orlando. So that's probably something for the House of Slytherin. Sure, some of you have had this happen where you go and circle around in the plug looking for your item, not find anything, and then see it bent around the end of your shovel, but it looks like somebody was building a bracelet or some type of homemade jewelry out of bending these ring pulls together. First time I've found one like that. Interesting. I'll search around there, see if I can find more of it. I'm getting a 12 to 13 here. Thought I might have a nickel. Instead we have a feather pendant. Probably just bling, because this is definitely a very cheap steel ring at the top. But I'll say that counts as jewelry. Here we go, right under what seems to be a pretty new slide. I can't imagine this park is more than 5 to 10 years old. But right at the bottom, if I can get that in the camera, it's obvious to see the 1 cent, but I recognize that font as being a wheat penny. It'll be a lot more evident once I got her cleaned off. But I was able to even get the year off this one. 1941. All right, we got another signal here close to the walking path. Let me find it again. Right about there. This 2930 is normally a quarter signal. Let's see if we can find one there. We do have at least 1 quarter. This is going to be another new state. There we go, Minnesota. Land of 10,000 lakes. Another quarter for the pile. I'll search again, see if we have anything else in this hole. And just outside of the park, I was getting kind of a bouncy 29 to 31 typical quarter signal, but this one actually had 2 quarters. They're both pretty much moderns. Looks like 1999 for New Jersey and 2000, maybe 2007 for Utah. Check this out. I believe I was getting like a 23-24, which I expected a penny, but this looks like a old copper, either a shoe buckle or a small belt buckle. And double check on the magnet. Yep, not magnetic at all, so copper it is. I'll take it. Alright, quick little wrap up. We did find the copper belt buckle, 3 random pieces of bling jewelry in the park, 5 quarters, 4 8 dimes, 5 nickels, and a handful of pennies. One of these, I don't remember which one. That one at the top, that one is the Wheatie from the 40s. Then, of course, I have a bunch of junk, which is going to go into my junk bin, but you guys aren't excited about that. So I'm going to go home, charge the rest of the detector, and then I got to meet Luke at an old park, see what we can find out there. All right, here we are at Park 2. I got the Equinox 800 with the 6-inch coil, and Luke over there has his Xterra Pro with the stock V12X coil. Let's see what we can find at this little boulevard-style park. Check this out. I was expecting a regular penny. We have a Canadian penny, my first time seeing one of these. It's got a bird with the wings outstretched, 1 cent, Canada, 1867 to 1967. So this must have been their centennial coin. And 60s is good, because that brings us closer to silver. Let's see what else we got. Well, that is interesting. I was expecting another nickel, but I have this entire bottle of, what would this be? Essential oil? It's got the ball on there, sort of like the way a deodorant works. Completely full. It's got little chunks in the bottom. Purple and white little things. Who knows what this is? Oh well, maybe Corey will know. Got excited for a second, was getting a 23-24. I saw the edge of it, thought we had a ring, but this appears to be a trim piece to something. Who knows what it is? I'll just toss that into the junk pile, as I don't think that's going to be anything other than aluminum. Perhaps a piece of a fishing pole or umbrella. I thought we might have a nickel, but we have even better. If I can read that correctly, it looks like a 1920 buffalo nickel. My favorite thing to find here in Buffalo, New York. And another signal that I thought was going to be a penny turns out to be like an 8-inch nail. I think it's like aluminum. It is definitely not magnetic, but first time seeing something like that. Interesting. Well, I thought I had a quarter in this little hole over here, but instead I apparently have Discovery 67 Shining Star. And I guess that means I get to keep this since I discovered it.